Knock, knock. No, seriously. Knock, knock.
Yeah.
Smell mop.
Smell mop.
That's a pretty disgusting thing to say in church, ladies and gentlemen. But that's exactly what Lauren would like. And before I talk about her, I just want to take a moment to thank you all for being here. I want to thank you for the support that you've shown us, Lisa, Christopher, myself, and our family for these many years, and especially this weekend. I know Lauren appreciates it too. You know, every once in a while you meet somebody who's very special. This kind of person that walks into a room, and when they do, everyone lights up. Everybody knows who they are, and everybody's attracted to them. Not because they're boastful or they call attention to themselves. But because of who they are. And Lauren was that kind of person. I've never met anybody more universally loved, more universally adored, and more universally remembered than her. She was a blessing for those of us fortunate enough to have known her. She was a granddaughter, a daughter, a sister, a niece, a cousin, and a friend to everyone in this room. She was so much more than that to all of us. She was an entertainer and a comedian. It was amazing to see that girl work a room with just a couple of stale knock-knock jokes, a couple of talk to the hands, and a how rude thrown in every once in a while. She was an athlete, medaled in skiing and horseback riding. She was a dancer and an artist. She was an actress, and if you weren't sure, you should just hang out at our house around breakfast time or around dinner time, especially dessert time, bedtime, just about any other time. She was an awesome negotiator, especially when it came to candy and gum. She was a world traveler. She preferred the Caribbean. She went other places too. She liked to be warm. She was a relationship counselor. I don't know any relationship that hasn't benefited from her apron and the bell idea. She was a lover of men. She loved the men in her life. And in return, they teased her and they loved her back. She especially loved Uncle Frankie and his calls whenever he would call and he'd go, "Hey Lauren, what's up?" And he'd let it go on for as long as his breath would hold. And then Lauren would try to call back and do the same thing, and then she'd like start wheezing and gasping. But she loved it. And there's Uncle Jack, OG1, which he thinks stands for Oh Great One. But Lauren informed him stood for Old Gray One. And then there's John Fancy Pants Darcy, her first love. We told Lauren loved John, and I said, we call him John Fancy because he wears ladies' underwear. and so we said we call him John Fancy Pants Darcy. And Lauren, adamantly defending him, said he's not John Fancy Pants, he's John Manly Pants. And by the way, on Thursday at the wake, John informed me that he was in fact wearing makeup. Sorry about that. Then there's Brian, handsome love. She was, for a while there, Brian, she was on you like wallpaper. There's Dan the Man Daly. For the last year, we like to call it the Daily Double. We call the dailies daily. And Lauren loved that. It brightened her day. And she would wait for Dan to talk, and as soon as Dan talked, she'd push the button to beep over his voice, and she would laugh. Incredible. And then there's Carter Kelly, our old neighbor. I mean, these are just some of the men who loved her and made her life more enjoyable, and it was so much fun to watch. But more than any of that, Lauren was a teacher. She taught us about happiness. When I talk with her, when I speak, I call her a little happiness vending machine. When I'm more familiar with her, I'll tell you that kid farted rainbows. She found the good in almost every situation. I was sharing a story with Judy the other day that I had never heard before, and Judy had asked her when Lauren was losing her vision, she says, "How do you feel about losing your sight?" And Lauren told her that she felt lucky. And Judy's like, "What do you mean lucky?" She says, "Well, I had my sight when I was younger, so I still remember what things look like. There's a lot of kids that were born blind and will never know that. No matter what what happened, she always found something to be happy about. She taught us about persistence. When we were exercising in the pool and she had to do 10, she'd say, I'll do 20. And when her physical therapy became a Herculean effort for her, she did the absolute best that she always could because she wanted to be as strong as possible for as long as possible. She taught us fearlessness. She wasn't afraid to jump into the fray and set things straight, which, by the way, setting things straight for her usually meant explaining how the woman was right, the man was wrong, and foot rubs were owed to someone. She was also never afraid to make friends with anyone, anywhere, at any time, in any situation, regardless of what conceived social appropriateness was. She taught us about laughter. You know, over the last 17 years, I've had 3 jobs. I've been a chiropractor, I've been a speaker. But if you ask anybody, including Lauren, my #1 job was to make that little girl laugh. She had enough struggle and she needed some light. But as much as I may have made her laugh, she made me laugh too. One night I was up late working, and Lauren didn't sleep much, so Lisa was with her. And at 3 o'clock in the morning, I'd only gone to bed an hour before Lisa comes and said, I'm so exhausted, you have to take over. Okay, I go in. So I'm laying with Lauren, and I'm sleep deprived, and Lauren's making noise, and she won't go to sleep. And finally, I snap. Lauren, stop it, go to sleep! Instantly regretting it. And Lauren goes real quiet, and then I hear her say these words. Maybe you should trade me in for another daughter. Hard to say. I took a moment to collect myself, and then I said, really? I didn't know you could do that. I could get one. And without batting an eye, she goes, tradeher.com. Oh my God, I never heard that. So what kind of kids they have there? Respectful ones. When I finally stopped shaking with laughter, I told her I loved her, and we went down and made homemade waffles, and we stayed up all morning together. She taught me about unconditional love and of acceptance of herself and of others. Lauren was not able to see. Not able to see what we see. She was able to see more. She was able to see the good in everyone she met. She was able to also see everyone, including herself, is absolutely perfect. She was able to see what the other person needed at all times and always left those who met her a little happier than they were before. She taught us about money and generosity. She loved money. She loved to count money. Easter, as Lauren was really kind of fading, wasn't moving much, wasn't speaking, Uncle Jeff tried to encourage her to wake up a bit. She said, Lauren, I'll give you $10. And from the table, Lauren's hand slowly comes out. She grabs the money, gives a brief tug of war between her, and she crumbled the money, put it into her hand, and lowered her hand back into her lap. The other night, Jeff asked, whatever happened to that $10 bill? She's still holding it, Jeff. I couldn't get it away. But while you couldn't take money away from her right away, Lauren was a generous soul, and she'd more than likely just give it away a few days later. She always liked to do things like offer to buy dinner for Lisa and Christopher and I, and she was going to treat. She was saving up to buy Mom a diamond ring, and on many of her trips to the dollar store, she spent her money to buy presents for the kids at the hospital. She taught us about family and about relying on one another. Lauren had a special relationship with Lisa. They're planning to be sisters in the next life. To me, she was an angel who taught me how to laugh at adversity and at myself. She inspired me to be better than I thought I could be. And she loved me with all her heart. She loved her brother. And all the girls she came to know as sisters. And through them all, she lived beyond her years and physical abilities. She taught me about optimism, reality, and the importance of living for today. Throughout her entire life, Lauren, as well as Chris and Lisa and I, were presented with a never-ending series of escalating challenges. It's been a 17-year revolving door of heartbreak and hope. With each new diagnosis came crushing despair. Lisa and I would leave no stone unturned until we found a way to help, and with that, hope sprang anew until the next cycle repeated again, which was more often than I care to remember. Her final challenge proved to be our last together. In May of last year, the doctors gave Lauren and us 3 to 6 months. But instead of seeing it as a curse, we saw it as a gift. We had the opportunity to truly appreciate the value of every minute, holding nothing back. Those 6 months miraculously stretched to 11. 11 months of travel, of family snuggles, of excessive snacking, of laughter, of friends, and of family. 11 months of breakfast for dinner, dinner for breakfast, lunch for dinner, and dessert pretty much any time of the day. 11 months of crazy YouTube videos about bacon, sunshine, cake, pina coladas, facial hair, and anything else we could think of. 11 months of Go Fish tournaments, which we let Lauren win, or she won on her own. 11 months with college visitations, mall shopping, appliance selfies, and countless trips to the dollar store. And for me, 11 months of watching my little girl fall asleep each night with the same rapture I felt for her as a newborn. In other words, 11 months of life lived to the fullest. On Monday, last Monday, Lisa and I took Lauren for a family walk. After about 20 minutes in the cool morning air, we heard what, unknown to us at the time, would be the last words. We would never hear her speak. I want to go home now. Lauren is home now, and her challenges have ended. But for those of us here today, the biggest challenge remains. The challenge to fill the void that was left when she passed from this world. And my advice to you today is this: when life presents you with a challenge or an opportunity that you're not sure how to handle, or things just seem really hectic and you start to feel overwhelmed or frustrated, here's what you do. Get dressed up. Put on your fancy shoes. Fix your hair. Don't forget to accessorize. And ask yourself, what would Lauren do? Lauren, we will miss you, and we love you. Mommy says you'll always be her baby girl. And you'll always be my favorite daughter.